Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first meeting of the Plan Commission for year 2020. January 2nd. First order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Make a motion. Anybody make a motion to approve? Jeff Berman, George, seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. Minutes have been approved. First case tonight is case 2019-45P. Alley vacation bounded by Golf Road, Leamington Avenue, Foster Street, and Laramie Avenue. And Mike from the Village of Skokie is going to present the case, and notice was not required in this case. Is that correct?
Notice was required.
It was required.
It was, but it was proper.
Okay. Thank you. I stand corrected.
I'd like to request
That's where he makes his big bucks.
that the report be accepted as presented.
Yes, so granted.
This is another one of our alley vacation sites within the village that we've identified since 2004 that is unused for access and vehicular purposes. This one's a little different in that it's split by, you can see the B2 and the B3 zoning on the north, and then the R2 single-family zoning on the south. As of right now, the residences occupy the entire 16-foot wide strip of the alley. We're requesting that it be divided along the zoning lines so that if there's any future redevelopment or expansion of there's an auto repair use there, that could be something else in the future. We've got a vacant a vacant office building on the southwest corner of Leamington and Golf right now that could either expand or be redeveloped so they can utilize that additional 8 feet of land on the south and not have to worry about loss of land as a result. For the benefits to the residences to the south is that they will pick up 8 feet and that can be counted toward their square footage on their property. Right now they are basically utilizing that land without even paying any taxes on it, so we're the ones who are kind of responsible and liable for any activity that occurs within that area, even though it's fenced off and used as alley. There is a shed adjacent to the house on Laramie that would be partially within Jiffy Lube's side. So the condition that I've put in, you'll see condition number 3, the existing shed at 9545 Laramie Avenue is permitted to remain within the vacated alley, but cannot be expanded or rebuilt and must be removed from the, I have to, let's see, from the 5147 Golf Road property. That's the Jiffy Lube property, if so requested by the owner of that property. Any new shed must be constructed outside of the vacated alley to allow for unobstructed access to the overhead utilities. So it can remain there. Jiffy Lube will own it. If they wish to say this has got to go and we're going to move our fence, then they can do that and have the residential properties shed moved to the south. There are also alley returns at both Leamington and Laramie Avenue, and you'll see those in the site photos that were attached here. Off of the Leamington side, I recently discovered that cars had been parking on grass and creating tire ruts by utilizing that alley return. So I told the residents to cease that activity. There's a pad next to the house. They'll have to probably create a wider apron out to Leamington because this return is going to be removed and restored with a sod and a sidewalk. Right now they're kind of utilizing that return and angling in to get into this paved area. So they could either put in a driveway out to Leamington or expand the pavement of their driveway northward into a part of the vacated alley to solve that issue. Off of Laramie Avenue, there is a vehicle that parks on a gravel surface, also utilizing this alley return, and even gravel surfaces would not be an approved surface for parking. They do have a slightly sunken garage off of Laramie. It looks like a one-car garage, so they do have parking provided on site. So the removal of this alley return will restrict them from using that for non-compliant parking purposes. There will be an easement for the overhead utilities that do exist within this alley. so that we would not allow any new sheds to be constructed within there. And then at the recommendation of our forestry division, we're not going to record the vacation of this alley until several dead trees are removed and other branches are pruned. They want to get in there and clean things up first.
The village is gonna do that.
Yes, our forestry division will be going in there to do some maintenance.
Any
That's all I
questions of
have.
staff?
Yeah.
Any questions of staff?
Yeah, I
Yes.
have one. Throughout my tenure here, we've been doing quite a few alley vacations. Do we have a lot more of those coming up, or is it just, are we rounding the corner?
We're almost finished. These are just some of the last ones. So I would say we have less than 20. They're just a handful here and there. And we've kind of gotten to them when we've had some time. In this instance, this came to us because a resident on Leamington was intending to actually construct a fence within the vacated alley, and our building division discovered that, and we put things on hold until we could say we're going to go through and we'll vacate this now, and then you can have half of it. And we did not want to give them the full width because of the fact that the north 8 feet is zoned for commercial purposes. We wanted to retain that redevelopment potential.
Well, that's forward thinking.
So, yeah, we wanted to make sure that, you know, if that office building at that corner were ever to be redeveloped, right now it's completely vacant, but it could be redeveloped into something else, and there'd be a significant benefit to having that additional square footage available for them, rather than giving it to the residents and rezoning it, so.
Any other questions? Yes. Commissioner Franklin, then Commissioner Matei.
My question just had to do with the resident that you mentioned is using that area now for parking, and that they will likely have to increase their apron or their driveway to be able to now get their cars into wherever they need to get them. I just was wondering if they choose to do that, do they have enough land available such that they don't have to come before zoning then to make that happen?
So, do you have the site photo attached to that?
I have looked
Okay,
at it.
I'll put it up
I
here.
don't have it right this moment.
So this is the house in question. They come in off of here, and there's a car that parks here. It almost looks like this alone is not quite wide enough to meet the requirement for a parking space right now. But they would be able to add additional pavement here and then apply for a permit to extend this return straight out, or this driveway straight out, rather than having to do this kind of angled maneuver in. Because I believe there's grass right here as well, so they have to kind of angle the car and come in like that. So with this additional 8 feet, they're right about here. That's the property line. That will be the property line. So they'll have enough on that side. There's no structures over there. It's just going to be a paved surface if they wish to continue that type of parking on that area.
So they should not need zoning approval to do that?
I don't believe so, not for this.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
Commissioner Matei?
Along those same lines, Mike. So I understand now why, so they're coming from the other direction, that's why they're having to make a right to go into their driveway, right?
Yes.
The section where the alley vacation is with the ingress egress apron, will that be removed?
Yes, I've spoken to our engineering director, and in the past, when we were in high gear with these alley vacations, we found a lot of returns around the village where they may not have led to anything, but people were just pulling into them and parking in them just because it was like kind of getting it out of the way of the traffic. So when we identify these returns that are not needed, they do restore them. So they would be putting in curbing with sod and sidewalk. There are actually a few left in town where they were vacated, but there was never any follow-up on it. We're just kind of going back and checking on those and reminding engineering to take care of that and get those sidewalks in and get the landscaping in. So both sides, even here, this is off of Laramie. Jiffy Lube is here on the left side, and then we've got the residents here. This would all be restored, and this would no longer be able to be used as a parking area. It's not conforming to begin with, so.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Mike. Does Steve have a question on any of the case there? Okay. Yes, I will. I'm ready for a motion on the Allied Vacation Case 2019-45P. Commissioner, thank you. And we have a second. Commissioner Mitchell, thank you. Okay. Call for the vote. Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Commissioner Quain.
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman is absent. Commissioner Villegas is absent. Commissioner Franklin.
Aye.
Commissioner Lexpati is absent. Commissioner Jeff Berman. Aye. Commissioner Matei. Aye. And I'll vote aye. Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Anything else before the board? And I'd like to welcome George back to the board. His health has been restricting his appearances here, but I understand he's going to get better. Is that right, George? Very good. Okay. No, that's true. You're right. Okay. Well, welcome back. And without further ado, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.